Hey guys, so today during my Bible reading, I read over something that was quite interesting, and I think the Lord responded to me in an interesting way. So, I was reading through Matthew chapter 15 today, and in it uh at the end, Jesus is out in the wilderness with a multitude of 4,000 people, and he tells his disciples like, "Hey, he says, I have compassion on the multitude because they continue with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And I will not send them away fasting lest they faint in the way." So what he's saying is, hey, I don't want to send these people home hungry because they might faint along the way home. It's been 3 days since we've been walking. And his disciples, they look at him and they're like, where are we going to get bread in the wilderness? And then Jesus, he says, how many loaves do you have? And the disciples say that they have 7 loaves of bread and a few fishes. And so Jesus prays over the food and blesses it and multiplies it and is able to feed the 4,000 people and have 7 baskets left over. Now, this is the interesting part, because in literally the very previous chapter, in chapter 14, Jesus is out in a desert place, and there's a multitude of 5,000 people, and they run into the same problem where his disciples were like, hey, you should probably send them home, probably send them to go get food in the villages and stuff. And Jesus is like, they don't need to leave, we can give them food to eat. And his disciples were like, hey, we only have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And so then Jesus says, bring them to me. He prays over them and multiplies them, feeds the 5,000. Now, the point of this video is the disciples knew that Jesus could do that. And they still questioned it. And I was like, why do they do that? And I had this thought pass by my mind that said, how many times have you been delivered from something and doubted that God could deliver you from something else? I think God cooked with that one.